Hey there, folks. Today I'm going to introduce you to the most radical, heretical, out there thing that you can do in order to declare your independence from this corrupted capitalist society. And it may be the most difficult statement for someone raised in our kind of culture, the modern consumerist culture, to do. I want you to settle for less. Seriously. Settle for less. What do I mean by that? Quite simply, decide exactly how much you want out of life, and when you get that, stop trying for more. Say, I don't need any more. I'm happy right now. I can't tell you how much that would be, but set a limit. And then, when you reach that limit, be content. That's the most radical, the most dangerous, the most existentially freeing thing you could possibly do in society. There is an unwritten assumption that we all want more, that we will always be striving for more, that more is the one drug we all agree that we cannot live without. More, more, more. More money, more success, a better house, a better neighborhood. All these things, they trap us. They confine us. They underlie this whole idea that you can never be content. And the thing is, this is not just a financial problem. This is not just an economic problem. It's not even just a political problem. It's a spiritual problem. As long as you continue to strive for more and more and more, that is your real spirituality. That is your goal. That is what keeps you motivated and going forward. It keeps you, in fact, from opening yourself to a higher level of spirituality. Society has you trapped in the lower level of the hierarchy of needs, where, sure, you have food, shelter, clothing, and you have, say, a position in society, you're part of something greater than yourself via your job, you have friends, and you have social connection, and a family, and everything. But you're not happy. Why? Because the idea that these are all you need to be happy is false. You need more than that. If you look up Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I'll show it to you here, but it's kind of hard to, see in a video, so I sincerely hope you look it up. You will find that while we all have needs like food, shelter, clothing, social connection, and things like that, there's more to that. And once we have the lower needs fulfilled, there's still higher needs. As far as I can tell, the main function of this ethos of never settling for less than you can get and you can always get more is to give us something to do with ourselves, to give purpose to our lives. That's why actually achieving the goals doesn't make you happy, because that was never the point. The point was to give you something to strive towards, to focus on. But we convince ourselves that happiness is just around the corner. Happiness is just the next promotion, the next purchase. We even do an insane thing called shopping, where we just go buy stuff just for the pleasure of buying stuff. How sad is that? How spiritually bankrupt is that? You don't even want the things. It's just fun to buy things. just ask yourself, if I just stopped getting new things, or at the very least, if the only circumstance under which I bought something new is when the old thing breaks, what would I do with all my money? What would you do? If you're middle class, by definition, you have a lot more money than it takes to just survive. And modern history, the history of modern consumer society, can be seen as a history of progressions as to what do we do with the extra money. The money that's beyond our need for survival and basic human comfort. A lot of what makes us happy, money can't buy. You can't buy friendship, you can't buy love, you can't buy the respect of your peers, you can't buy a place in the community. So we distract ourselves by buying a lot of things that don't really make us any happier. That in fact simply add to our burden of life. Every object you own owns a piece of you. It owns a piece of your mind, because even if you buy it and never use it, there's a part of your brain dedicated to remembering that that thing is there. You have to remember your belongings. Every single one of them has an entry in your mind. And in older times, when people didn't really have that much in the way of personal possessions, that was no big deal. But now, even a person on minimum wage has hundreds of belongings. Clothing alone, for some people, is hundreds of things. And once you get to a certain amount of material success, if you started actually just counting all the stuff in your attic and your garage and your closets and things like that, things you almost never use, you're talking thousands and thousands of belongings, each of which takes that little piece of you. So again, ask yourself, if I stopped buying new things, if I stopped lusting over the next consumer purchase, what would I do with myself? What would I do with my time? What would I do with my money? Why would I be working so hard at work? And that's the real problem, isn't it? You'd have to stop and think about what you're doing with your life. As long as you're on the material acquisitions treadmill, that substitutes for an actual purpose in life. But sooner or later, usually when you're middle-aged or a little later than that, it's all going to catch up with you, and you're going to look around at all your possessions and go, I don't even care about this crap. Why did I work so hard to get this stuff? Because it wasn't the having, it was the acquiring. When you realize the futility of an acquisition-based lifestyle, you then have to face the existential void. You have to say, what am I doing with my life? Why am I doing it? What in my life actually makes me happy? And what are the things that I just did because I thought they'd make me happy, but they don't? I thought I was supposed to. I thought it was expected of me. Things like that. As far as I'm concerned, the sooner you do this, the better. But, if you're still on that treadmill, it can be really hard to step off. It's a very scary thing to suddenly face the question, what exactly am I doing with my life and why? Even a question as basic as, am I happy, can invite a look outside the walls of your current reality that is extremely frightening. The only real way to free yourself from this restrictive world is to declare that you have enough and then see what happens. Hell, just say it out loud. Wait till there's no one around and say out loud in a firm voice, I have enough. I don't want any more. I'm fine. Thank you. And see how it feels. Does it feel good? Or does it feel scary? Does some part of you feel like just saying the words that you have enough means you'll stop getting more? Like someone, fate, God, whoever, is going to go, oh, you have enough. Well, then I won't give you any more. But if you have enough, that's not a problem. You don't want any more, you don't get any more. Even if this completely illogical thing, just saying, admitting that you have enough, actually caused you to not get more anymore, if you truly have enough, you wouldn't care. But if the idea of not getting more anymore is terrifying to you, I want you to just ask yourself why. What would it mean? What would it mean if you had enough? What if you actually did just stop being materially ambitious? What would that mean? Would your life suddenly be purposeless? Would you have no idea what to do with yourself? If that's true, then that means you actually think that the point of your existence is material acquisition. And most people wouldn't really think that that's actually the point of their existence. But if you're purposeless without it, it must be your purpose, right? So stand up. Say, I'm fine. I don't need lower taxes. I don't need a raise. I don't need anything. Be comfortable with the idea that you're not ambitious on that level anymore. Even though everything about middle-class consumer culture says that that's the worst thing you can be. The worst thing you can be is unambitious. The worst thing you can be is content. The worst thing you can be is no longer a shark constantly competing for your advantage against others and the constant war to get more and more and more and more for yourself. That's the worst kind of person there is. Society clearly values ruthless sociopathic bastards a lot more than it does content people who found their niche and don't really want to go anywhere. So if you want to be a rebel, if you consider yourself independent of mind, if you want to make a clean break from the endless wheel of acquisition, just keep saying to yourself, I have enough. I do not need more. Break the cycle of addiction to more. Say, I don't need any more. I'm fine. Only then will you find out what you really want to be doing with your life.
I know you got yourself a game plan. You got this whole thing figured out. Well, I wish you all the best with self-importance, ain't success and takes very little into account.